Two great races at Iowa marked the weekend for NASCAR without the Cup Series. Let me tell you, they were pretty good races as well. The Truck Series raced on Saturday, and the Xfinity Series raced on Sunday. They were both kind of midday, and they weren't really night races. The Truck race was more of a night race than the Xfinity race was. But so I guess we'll first just start off with the Truck Series race. So it was very entertaining. There were, as Iowa always is, very entertaining. Multiple grooves. You could run the top side, you could run the low end, you could run anywhere in the middle, and you could be fast no matter what. There was close racing, hard racing, short track racing at its finest in the Truck Series. We had wrecks, we had spins, we had yellows, we had everything in between, different leaders, different strategy, and it all came down to the last lap when the 16 truck was leading with Brett Moffitt behind the wheel, the 18 Noah Gragson behind in second. And Gragson just let it hang out. He went into turn number 3 on the last lap, drove it to the bottom of the 16 of Moffitt, and said, if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, oh well, I tried. He almost made it stick, almost worked, but he got up into the wall, slammed the wall for 4, and the 16 went on to win handily. Brett Moffitt wins in front of the hometown crowd, but Gragson tried at the end, and he ended up in the second position. But that is what I like to see. That was such a good race, such a great finish to the race. Gragson, he had choices. He could have done what he did, drive it to the bottom, try to slap in front of him. If it worked, it worked. If it didn't, oh well. He could have put the bumper to him and risked putting the 16 into the wall, or he could just ran him over and dumped him for the win. What Gragson did was probably the best choice he could have done. For one, if you bump him off the track and put him to the wall, that's, you could technically call a dirt driver, but once again, Rubin's racing, so if you bump him out of the way, that's fine. If you turn him, you're dumping someone to win, which you don't want to be. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be like what Austin Cindric did at Mosport last season, or what he did was slap in front of him and try it. What you did was you tried your hardest. You tried everything you could to win without hitting the guy, and you didn't tear up anyone else's equipment to do it. Your equipment, you hit the wall, but it's still fine. And you almost made it work. It almost worked to perfection. If he got slow just a little bit more, I think he could have gotten it worked. It just didn't work. He got into the wall. He was a little too slow, and the 16 went right on by. But still a great race there. The Xfinity race, I caught some of it, but I didn't catch all of it. Justin Allgaier pretty much dominated the race, but I don't know if he had the fastest car. Christopher Bell had a fast car, but Allgaier ran a top lane to where Bell had to go by on the bottom lane, and Bell could not get that done. Allgaier ended up winning the race. Great race once again. There's close, hard racing from what I saw. There's different strategy. Everything was all over the place. And it was, once again, another great race. So, Iowa being so good, it's a fantastic race again. Every time they go to Iowa, it seems like it's such a great race. Short track racing, different grooves. And I think, I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was Justin Marks that tweeted about the Xfinity race. He was like, man, that really makes the case for old surfaces and Xfinity driver fields. Basically what he was referring to was no Cup driver ran in the Xfinity race or the truck race because it was the Cup weekend off. And Iowa's a really old surface to where you can slip and slide around, the tires wear, and it's not like something like Charlotte. So what I'm hearing is just never repave a track ever again. Now, obviously, that's a joke because tracks are going to be repaved, like surfaces keep coming up or whatever, if the surface is really bad. But don't repave a track if you don't have to. First of all, you're spending money for it, and then you make the racing worse. We've seen it with all the tracks that have been repaved. Kentucky got repaved, and the racing has gone to single file around the bottom lane because that's all it does. It creates a groove that you can only run in until that track gets worn out enough to where you can run anywhere else. That's where newer pavement does. It allows the bomb to be the best track. It has the most grip down there. It's the shortest way around. If you're on the top side, you have the same grip. Possibly. There's no rubber laid down up there, though. Texas has been the same way. It's about 2 grooves wide, if that. And when it's worn down, I think, more than Kentucky has, but it's still pretty fresh to where if you get out of the groove, you're going to go slipping and sliding up the track, and you're going to be slower. Charlotte was repaved so long ago, and for some reason that racetrack is still the same as it was then. Bottom groove is the best during the nighttime. During the day, it can provide a little bit of a better race, but during the nighttime, no matter what, it's still a pretty bad race. Charlotte, they use some weird substance which really hurt the racing there. And then what other tracks have been repaved? Watkins Glen, but that doesn't really matter. Michigan was repaved in 2012, and it's a lane and a half groove that you can run in there still. Before the repave, they're running up against the wall like they do at All Club and stuff like that, running that Larson or junior line or the high lane, I guess you could just call it, just running up there. And now they can't run up there because there's no grip up there, and the fast way around that track is about half a lane off the bottom. So what it shows is that repaves, if you use, once you repave, it's going to take a long time to get that track into another, like a wearable state, to where the tires will wear down nice and easy, and where you'll be slipping and sliding around without, being on ice, so to speak. And that's why Iowa's so good. It's one of the older surfaces on the schedule, and it makes for some good racing. Like Atlanta, it's an old surface. You're slipping and sliding around there. Darlington, old surface. You're slipping and sliding around. But you get tracks like Michigan, stuff like that, where you can't go slipping and sliding around. When you're slipping and sliding, because you feel like you're on ice, because you're out of the groove by half a lane, and you're just losing control. So then the Xfinity driver fields, obviously, I've been a big advocate for that. I feel like they should limit the Cup drivers even more, because it seems like the best races are the ones where there's not Cup drivers in the field. The 4 Dasher Cash races this season. Richmond, great race. Dover, fantastic race. Two teammates were side by side, beating and banging to the stripe. Talladega's obviously going to be a good race no matter what. And Bristol, great race. Now you get Iowa, great race. And there's a common denominator. Of course, a lot of them are short tracks, but also there's just no Cup drivers in the field. If there was a Cup driver in the field at Bristol, at Richmond, at Dover, it would have been a snooze fest. If there was one in Iowa, it probably would have been a snooze fest, because these Xfinity drivers are learning off of each other. They're learning off maybe some of the veterans of the Xfinity Series. Justin Allgaier's raced in Cup before. He knows what he's doing. They can learn off of him. Elliott Sadler, he's a veteran. He's raced for so long. They can learn off of him. They don't have to learn off of Cup drivers that are racing now, because the Cup drivers know what they're doing already. They're going to be way too good. And on top of that, those Cup drivers, they're so good already, then they're getting JGR level equipment. They're getting Junior Motorsports level equipment. They're getting Chip Ganassi level equipment. And you put a really good driver into that car, it's going to be a snooze fest at the front because of how good they are. So, I think if Cup drivers are going to be racing, they should do what they used to do back in older days, where they made their own team and then they raced with that, or they joined some lower level team and then they raced with them in those series. Obviously, that wouldn't work now, because teams are so far spread apart that the bad teams suck, and no matter who's behind the wheel, they won't finish higher than 20th. But back when the cars were more equal and there was more competition, I guess, you could go down and jump into a lower level team, but if you had the driver to race around that track and haul that car around, it would run top 10. It would run top 5. Greg Biffle raced with lower level teams. So many drivers raced with lower level teams back in the early 2000s, late 90s in the Busch Series, because that they felt maybe it was more fun to do that, or maybe their said team didn't have a Busch Series team to go run down in, so they did the closest affiliate to them, which is fine. That's great. If someone wants to go down to GMS in the Truck Series and race, that's one of the better teams. But it's not like you're going down racing for Kyle Busch Motorsports, which has the best trucks all race. Obviously, GMS has some pretty good trucks too. But GMS in the Xfinity Series, they don't have the best stuff. If a Hendrick driver goes down there and runs there, they probably won't kick butt. They'll probably run maybe top 5, top 10, maybe carry that car a little bit higher. It's a medium, it's a middle average car. And when those drivers get down there, it works. So big takeaways from the Iowa race is that, and also the attendance was pretty poor. Although it is out in the middle of nowhere, really. It's 30 miles from Des Moines, Iowa. So, there's not really much around it. It's out in the middle of nowhere, so not many people went. On top of that, it's hot, and it's only the Xfinity race. So why would people want to go to an Xfinity race? I don't know. Maybe they're waiting to go later in the season, saving up their money or whatever. And then the TV ratings for the truck race went down slightly, but the Xfinity ratings skyrocketed up to over 1 million people watched the Xfinity race on Sunday. So I have some theories for that. Saturday night races, this race last season was a Saturday night race. Saturday night races are losing popularity or just not getting much interest. And the reason for that is, so you have a weekend. You work 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. You get Saturday and Sunday off, right? What are you going to do on Saturday night? Go out and party. You're going to go have, go somewhere, go do something right on Saturday night. So if a race is going Saturday night, I'm not going to take my whole night of Saturday off because I can't go out Sunday night and do stuff like that. I'll do it Saturday night, right? So if there's a Sunday race, you're more likely to be home on a Sunday, which is basically a lazy day for some people, right? You work Monday through Friday if you're working full time, and then on Saturday, it's your time to go hang out with friends, with, coworkers, whatever you do, family members, you go party, have a beer or something, go out to eat with people during the night, right? Sunday is the day you want to stay home and do nothing. You just want to go and watch TV and stuff. That's why I think the Iowa ratings for Xfinity went up. It went from a Saturday night race last season to a Sunday race this season, because I feel like people have less to do on Sunday, since you can't go out Sunday night if you're going to go to work the next day, and you can't have like 5 beers on a Sunday night, then go to work at like 6 a.m. on a Monday and feel fine. You're going to be hungover or whatever. So I honestly feel like that Saturday night races are losing their luster. They're kind of losing popularity, losing interest because of that. In fact, in the Cup realm, I feel like the 2 night races this season were Richmond and Kansas, both run Saturday night. I believe those were 2 of the lowest ratings of the season, which is sad because those were 2 of some of the best races of the season. Kansas had so many different like battles everywhere, and Richmond is just classic short track racing. And I feel like they had the lowest ratings because they were run Saturday night. If you saw a Richmond race run Sunday, it might have been better. If you saw that Kansas race run Sunday, it might have been better. I don't know. I can't really say that I'm right. That's just my theory, that maybe people are going out Saturday night having fun and whatnot, going out to eat, going out having a beer or whatever, and they don't really care about the race because they want to do something with, they would rather tape the race, watch it Sunday when they have nothing else to do. So then the final question, should Cup run at Iowa? In my opinion, it should. Does NASCAR but does NASCAR see a long-term gain from that, is my question. Because when you think about it, right, Iowa, such a great track, right? It has such great racing. If Cup runs there, it's going to improve the ratings. But they can't let Cup run at Iowa until what, like 2020, 2021, sometime around there, because of the whole like contract there with the tracks and all that. But just great racing, but in my mind, it's not really in the middle of anywhere. They might have to, I don't know what's like getting into the track, but it's probably not that big of roads getting into the track. It's probably like 1 lane or 2 lane roads or something, not anything big. So they might have to extend the road out. Like Pocono is 1 lane, like it's like a lane going in, lane going out, right? Well, when you're going out, they have traffic blocks that it's 2 lanes going out, but coming in, you can only go 1 lane because traffic's going the other way. Now what they're doing to Pocono is they're adding another lane to go in, so that's 2 lanes going in, and then when you're leaving, it'll be 3 lanes going out, so that it works fine. People are coming in at different times, so everyone's leaving at the same time. So it just works out perfectly. Pocono doing something great. They actually, you can see like the markings now. They're going to pave. I don't know if they're going to do that before. I don't think they have time to do it before the next race. I think they'll do it sometime in the off season. But that's a right step. More. You can have more traffic in, because Pocono is one of the races where a lot of people go there no matter what. Even if it's rained out, still a pretty good crowd there if it's like a Monday race. So then, so Iowa, I think, should get a Cup date. It just depends on, people have to go there, because if people do not go there, they're not going to keep going there. If like half the grandstands show up, that's not good enough. They have to have a track where people are going to be committed to going there and they're going to do it right. At Rockingham, when the trucks raced it, everyone was like, oh, Rockingham, let's go back to Rockingham. NASCAR went back to Rockingham with the trucks. I believe the first year the attendance was great, but I believe the second year the attendance went down a little bit, and they never raced after that at Rockingham, because not enough people were showing up to support that series and support the race at Rockingham after so many people wanted it. And now Rockingham is basically dead. So Iowa, if they were to have a Cup race, everyone had to go there like their lives depended on it. They might have to upgrade some facilities, like parking may need to be upgraded, the roads going to the track may need to be upgraded. Maybe like, I don't know if there's hotels around the track. Stuff has to be closer to the track, I think, in terms of stuff like that. I don't feel like there's a lot of big things around there. That's why like Chicago still has a date, because it's pretty close to Chicago. It's in Joliet, Illinois, but it's near Chicago, so it works. It's around a big area. If you're around a big area, that's why Pocono has 2 dates. It's around so much, even though that stuff's pretty far away. Hours away, it's still pretty close. Philadelphia is not that far away. Pittsburgh, Cleveland's probably not that far away. Charlotte's probably not far away. It's probably like 7 or 8 hours away. New York's up there, stuff in New Jersey. It's like in that area of Pennsylvania where everything is close. That's basically where I live. I can go 2 hours to New York. I go 2 hours to Dover. I go 2 hours to New Jersey. 2 hours down to Harrisburg. 2 hours down to Philly. 5 hours down to Pittsburgh. That's where I live in Pennsylvania. I can go basically anywhere, and it's only a few hour drive because of where I am in the realm of Pennsylvania. That's why Pocono, because it's only 30 minutes away from me. It's so close to everything else. So if people want Iowa to run Cup, if people want Cup to run at Iowa, they need to go there. They need to buy tickets. They have to sell out that grandstands. If not sell it, they have to come pretty darn close, and they have to upgrade some stuff. Like grandstands may need to be updated. They might have to add in more. I don't know if they would have to, considering NASCAR's popularity is going down, but they might have to upgrade them at least. Might have to upgrade maybe some garage facilities or something in there. I don't know how those buildings are in there. I thought I heard something about there's not a video board at Iowa. I don't know if that's true or not. They might have to add that in. I don't know if that's really a thing or not, that they don't have a video board, but if they don't have one, you better get on that, Iowa. Obviously, parking might have to be upgraded, and obviously the roads getting in. So overall, just a quick, I can't think of the word, but a quick summary of what just talked about. Races were very good at Iowa for the trucks in the Xfinity race. Cup, if they got the chance to, if NASCAR thought that maybe it would be right for them, if the attendance was right and if ratings would go up, should run at Iowa. If they were to run at Iowa, it should be sometime during a Sunday, maybe like around when the Xfinity race, 4 or 5 p.m. That's a perfect time because the sun starts going down, and I feel like it's starting to cool off already to where you're not in because it can get hot out in the Midwest, which is kind of where Iowa is. It's like towards the Midwest. So if Cup were to do that, and I think they should. I think they should have at least a run at Iowa for 2 or 3 years, see how it goes. One race per season there, though, because I feel like people there, they don't really make a lot of money. I don't know if that's true or not, but I just feel like being out in the middle of really nowhere, it really doesn't help. So, yep, that's my opinion on the races at Iowa. Thought they were great. Think Cup should go there, and let's hope that if they do, they stay there. So, thanks for watching. See you guys for the next one.